Okay, good evening, class. Welcome to today's class. As usual, I want to give the 5 minutes benefit of doubt for the rest of the class members to come in. Please, chairman, reach out to your classmates to come into class. Don't forget to sign in your name and your party. Attendance is very key to your graduation. So ensure you sign in your name and your party. We'll give the next 5 minutes, then we'll start the class immediately. Thank you.
Hello. Is more in there?
Yes, he is in
Yeah, yeah.
class, sir.
Please, they should ensure, they should take a rating. I'd love to see the attendance. I'd love to know the party that attended this class the least. Lisa, could you help me take that down? I want that this night. I could get the party that attended the class the least. Is that okay?
All right, AJ.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good evening once more, class. It's 5 minutes past the hour of 5 o'clock, and we're going to start right away. Our lecture for today is going to be on the psychology of politics, myths, and realities. As you come into class, remember once more to sign in your names and your party. We have none other to take us on today's class than our able and our beloved ED, Mr. Kule Lawal, who needs no further introduction. Sir, you're welcome to class this evening. ED, sir.
Great. Thank you very much. Sorry, I was already speaking. I forgot I was muted. So,
Oh,
good
okay,
evening,
thanks.
everyone. Yeah, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to, take this class again with the college. It's a pleasure to sit down with everybody in the 12th cohort. And today is an open class. We said you guys should invite your friend. And this is because we're going to try to make this class as interactive as possible, as it should be. So I'd like to thank you, Silas, for, of course, being part of this. I'd like to thank everybody within the Electoral College for doing this. So welcome, 12th cohort, to the psychology of politics, myths, and realities. Before we begin, I'd like to first say, we're all conversant with the game of politics. There's what we consider politics is, there's what we feel politics is, and there's what we think politics is. And these three parameters are totally different from what politics actually is. Over the course of this class, we're going to try to dispel a lot of myths. We're going to try to understand why some necessary things occur in politics. We're going to also try to get a feel of what politicians want you to think and how they want you to react to. And I'll give you, just some random kind of examples as we go along to help assess the way, the psychology of politics works. Preceding 2019, a lot of people were told that a small party could not win an election. This was generally not true. A lot of people here still believe that truth. But by 2023, I would say the emergence of a particular party helped dispel what we had been preaching 4 years before that. Political party, as you've said clearly, is nothing but a vehicle to press. And this is something we need to understand as individuals, as citizens, and also as the electorate. The people who told you, and this is key, the people who told you that small parties can't win an election are still the most culpable parties in rigging elections. If small parties can't win elections, then why did they rig ballots? I think we've just chosen to play to the gallery and not understand what exactly is going on in the situation of politics. Well, it's kind of cool in Nigeria because the first thing you're taught in religious institutions is that politics is not your business, or the path to politics is not your business, or is God that chooses leaders. Well, people choose leaders. That's the truth. Your inaction in participating in an election is as well as good as a vote for whoever won, because your inaction and the inaction of a lot of people that took the same stand with you will place you in the exact position which ensures that whoever could have been voted against wins. Like I said, this is just the basic preamble to topic today. So would like to start. Psychology of politics, myths and realities of politics in Nigeria. The first thing I would want us to think of is basically we always talk about when we think of the psychology. Most of us think that politics just get money and you win. If it was that simple, people like Wanya would have been president. I would even say MK would have been president, because a few things he didn't preempt was actions within the military who were supposed to hand over power to him. He didn't preempt those things. So basic, it's not, the basic introduction is that there actually is a psychology to politics. And it's not a mystic science. It's not far-fetched. It's not for the elite. It's not for those who you think know what politics is, those who, you know, are revered as the so-called politicians. I'll tell you something. I'm not an authority in politics, regardless of the title I hold. Regardless of the achievements I've made in politics, I am not an authority in politics. Neither is the president. Neither is anyone in Nigeria. The authority in politics is the Electoral Act. As long as we do not, as citizens, understand the Electoral Act, or we do not go through it, we cannot begin to engage into the game of politics and governance. So there is a psychology to politics, not a mystic science also. And this is made elusive to give the game of power its mystery and fair. Sorry, I think while making this, I double typed I think I was moving it after I wrote it somewhere and I double typed it. So it's twice on the slide, you could ignore that. And then we'll go into the game of politics. So to understand the psychology of politics, you need to understand the game of politics. And the game of politics is separated into 4 key areas. The first will be strategy. Now, strategy you probably used within your cohorts, mergers, quiet agreements within the political parties in the cohort. But let's bring it to Nigeria. So people working within parties, breaking into parties, getting help from other people within parties, etc., breaking into things. That's the strategy. Also, targeting maybe a specific group, be it a religious set, a tribal set, the way a set thinks. There are politicians that target the educated. There are those that target those who are below the poverty line. Different parameters. The strategy in politics is key. If you notice, if you look at the circle, you find out that strategy and money almost have the same parameters. I think about 24 and 25% on this graph. So strategy, money is key. I'll be honest. You can't even effectively play in your strategy without money. I'll give an example. There was somebody who wanted to be governor of a Western state in Nigeria. And he had run twice before this time. And he effectively was always second. He ran in a minuscule party earlier. Then he ran in one of the large parties. His votes remained the same. He always took second. He always tailed behind a particular party that was holding power in that state. And then he met with a few people, and this is just to understand our strategy. And this is real life. This is reality. And then he met with a few people in Abuja. And then, there was this conversation. Why are you always taking this particular position? Why is this position particularly what happens to you when you run for office? And some great minds said, you know what? We're going to look at the entire system. When you looked at the vote, what you saw was, when you looked at the paper, what you saw from electoral results was a sway constantly between indigents of that particular state participating and taking sides behind particular candidates dependent on where they came from and what constituency they represented. But there was an anomaly. The non-indigents in that state kept voting for just anyone. Nobody was courting them. So they just voted for what you call the ministerial parties, not the two big elephants. They just kept voting across board. And this was massive. So the advice given to him in Abuja, he's a sitting governor today. The advice given to him in Abuja when he sat down with this particular set of people was that now focus your campaigns as you've always done, but now cut about 10 to 15% of your campaign funds and throw it into courting the Hausa, the Fulani, the South, people from the South, that's Efik, people from Cross River. And congratulations today, I think XII turned 36 years old today. So people from that end, Easterners. And when he did that, the third time he was running for office in 2019, he became the executive governor. And in 2023, I assure you, his campaign was key on recruiting non-indigenous, who apparently in that state made up to 21% of the state's voting population. And imagine, nobody had courted them. So that is strategy for you in politics. And that is thinking outside the box. And trust me, money can't pay for that kind of strategy. So money is relevant, strategy is relevant, but the most relevant thing in politics is influence. Now, if you were in America or somewhere else, it would seem so brilliant if you decided to have, if you are going to have influence, your influence would be based on charities you've worked around, mass mobilization of people garnering voters or supporters to your party, doing a lot of work. But in Nigeria, let's come back home. It's a little different. In the game of politics in Nigeria, the way to drag influence will be probably what you're not thinking. Some people, and I'll tell you, a few of us that ran in 2019, when some of them wanted to run in 2023, they had stopped being the so-called, how I could call it, polished politicians. And they were ready for, in short, they were thirsty, looking for something that would cause a fracas. Now, they needed something that was bad happening in their life. They didn't mind if the situation was that they were caught in a hotel room with two slave queens, whether they were found out or rumored, not necessarily true, to have a kid with one woman, and she comes out and starts making quite a lot of noise. Well, the present executive governor of Kaduna State was someone who was caught in quite a compromising situation with women not too long ago. We laugh about it. I can see Silas laughing, which is true. It's funny. But now, what's most funny is that if, like Dino, you decided to climb a tree or pretend to have broken your neck in a court proceeding, or lie down like somebody else, in another country, you are blacklisted. In Nigeria, more people follow you. So do we want to discuss what Nigerian politics really is as a result of who we really are? Or we want to talk about it in a way that we deem fit, in a Harvard way? I've had conversations with people who went to the Kennedy School of Government. And, they'll tell you, I've been to the Kennedy School of Government. You're talking Nigerian politics. I know what politics in the world demands. You don't. You do if this were America, the UK, Germany, Finland, Switzerland. When you come to places like Russia, Nigeria, South Africa, Rwanda, Ghana, you're totally talking about a whole new ballgame. Because what is influenced in these places is blacklisted totally in the advanced world. If today Kunle Lawal decided to run for governor in his state, and I'm traditionally from Kwara State, And I decided to run in my state. Sorry, I said traditionally, ancestrally from Kwara State. And I decided to run in my state. I will need influence. Now, this influence can be achieved in multiple ways. I told you one of the ways. One of the most interesting ways in Nigeria to achieve influence, which is a very sad thing, is to abuse the government and abuse your country. I now know why Kunle Lawal is not popular on Twitter, because he doesn't know how to abuse Nigeria. People will feel, Kunle knows so much about government. Why doesn't he talk like David Udeyin? Up to the extent. I think David even has a new video that the Nigerian government is trying to pick him. Ha, ha, ha. Really? He's in a state, he's in an ECOWAS state, and he's complaining that Nigeria wants to pick him. I find that as a joke. If you really wanted to pick him, trust me, you will not be making such videos. And we're quick to follow in Nigeria. We're quick to follow. No offense. David Udeyin is doing his thing. No offense. But as you follow him, are you aware that David Udeyin escaped Nigeria on the fact or on the premise that anti-gay laws were put in Nigeria in 2010? I know most of you don't bother about that. It's Nigeria now. We don't care about the beginning. I would gladly follow OBS Kusili. No offense. Someone who raised $2 million in campaign funding and never printed one poster. I'm sorry. But we deserve the leaders that we have. And that is the sad truth. Influence in Nigeria is anything. And mostly in the negative. Today, if Kunle steals 1 billion naira from the government and goes to run for office, everybody will say, well, let's vote him, we'll get our share of the cake. Instead of let's stop this guy. So influence in Nigeria is made up of all the things that are blacklisted. Let's be honest now. What makes people popular? And yeah, it is not that social, but I know what's going on a little bit. Recently, I was wondering why my name was flagged on Twitter quite a lot. Lawal. Apparently, somebody who bears my name had a sex tape out. So I'm sorry, but my name is Lawal too, so I get a few flags because of that. But that's what you guys wanted to watch. Nobody cared what Nigeria exactly or what was going on in the country with governance or politics. No, that's all of a sudden justice for Mohbad. Brilliant. Nigerians went all over, of course, half-dressed boys and girls, smoking whatever they wanted to smoke on the streets. No problem. No offense. It's what you want to talk about. Come on. Let's wake up and smell the coffee. Sonny and Michael Jackson had the same problem. Suge Knight and Tupac. Snoop Dogg had to run away from Death Row Records. It's the shady thing around the music industry, celebrity lifestyle. But away from Mohbad, it's what we chose to stand for. You don't stand for your rights, but you stand for punishment. That is the mind of Nigerians. But let's not go into that. We'll go into a long thing. Now, communication. Communication is very key in the game of politics. And I can alter your psyche. Like in 2019, 92 political parties at the time. And I tell you, don't vote for a miniature party because they can't win elections. And that is the communication that was released from, the big boys in the game. And you bought it as Nigerian citizens. You bought it because you were told that. It was a narrative. Yet the same big two will still go and rig the small parties' votes. I'll tell you a little story. In 2019, one of the things I learned, that you can easily predict the votes of the two big parties by being at the polling unit. And I'm going to tell you how this happened. So then There was no beavers, nothing. So it was polling units, collation units, and then to federal. So here's where the magic happens. In the polling unit, let's say, we're going to give examples. Let's say party, okay, since I'm saying Salah's name, Party Silas had 21 votes. Today is Chalia's birthday, so we'll also use Chalia's name. Party Chalia had 20 votes. That's 41, right? Now, the two big two, whose names I won't mention, had 1,000 votes. This is just make believe 1,000 votes. Depending on who used remote control by financial purposes to the entire polling unit and the polling agents and etc. So maybe it's big party A or big party BP that is that has an elected official that is in that control of that place. It means under their jurisdiction. So now, when they want to overtake party A, which is the rival party, they will borrow party Silas votes. Sure, you had 21, but now you have 3. I had 22. They'll go to party Chalia. Sure, she had 20, but they will take 18 and crown it on their head, and that's how they beat party A. But the communication will be, that was what was done. But the communication will be, small parties cannot win an election. The only person that will tell you that is somebody planning to rig an election. Take that to the bank. Communication is key. We have somebody in the helm of affairs right now, spokesman to the president. People assume communication is speaking phonetics, or maybe it's the color of his skin. I don't know. I didn't call anybody's name, but no offense. You should be careful when you decide to say that the first African leader to ring a bell in NAFTA. Number one, you're the presidential spokesman. You are local. Leave that conversation for the consular general in the US, since they've recalled ambassadors, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Leave it for them. It's not your business. Yeah, there's some foreign things that affect you, like when the president went to India and was able to raise some funds. That's your business. But communication requires a particular level of intelligence. Hence, I use that example. So in the rush, you said first African leader. If you had said, the president, was privileged for him to ring the bell at NASDAQ. Beautiful. You didn't need to add first. So communication is key. 1 line, 2 lines can destroy your communication. Like, I'll give an example. Silas again. Sorry, I'm going to be using you a lot because I'm just seeing. So Silas again. Silas can say, I want to represent my people. Seems good. Remember, I said my people. I'll tell you where the problem is. Seems good. Then me as Silas' opponent in that elections in Plateau State, I will now uncover that Silas is actually from Benue State, like his grandfather. Though the constitution doesn't stop him from running in Plateau State. But I will now say, oh, he's running because of his people. It means Benue people will take over our dear Plateau State. You see where communication has failed? All because Silas did not say, I'm running for the good of the people of the Plateau. Different, same sentence, different communication can be used against you. And that's the game of politics. I've had the course of listening across cohorts to a lot of people talking about when we say come and do debates in the electoral college, most people just come and talk as if, and that's not what I don't want you to read me a manifesto. My party say that's too, I don't know. Like sometimes I don't know why I haven't fallen asleep yet in a debate. Sorry, I know you guys put your effort, but we are teaching you differently. Should have taken your time to maybe go over electoral college, Lagos debate, and etc. But you guys sound like, I'm sorry to say, broken records. I know some of you are young, but some of you that know what I'm talking about, You know, when that LP, when the LP has one small bump, when it's turning around, the needle continues scratching and going back. Some of you might not understand what I'm saying. Let me just go back to what I'm saying. Anyway, you know when you scratch CD and it starts skipping like that. Should be ingenious. Communication should come from the heart. Most of the time, when it does come from the heart, it's harder to pinch holes in. Communication is part of strategy, but it's so big that it matters. So how you put out what exactly you want to do. And I will tell you something that's a big secret. If I'm in government and I know that the youth are trying to garner out, or they are picking sides during an election, I can drop Big Brother. This might not be necessarily done by the ruling party. It could be the competition. Now the competition can set it up, and this is also communication. So it's strategy and communication working together. So I'll set up the Big Brother. I'll get them to do Big Brother simultaneously. And then I blame the ruling party for it. I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm just showing you an example. And then I blame the ruling party for it, giving me a notch up. It's communication in a game of politics. And in politics, you think what I want you to think. My best definition of influence is you thinking you have arrived at an answer because you thought it. When you do not know, I implanted the basic seeds and to germinate for you to come to that conclusion. I think I was talking to somebody today and I said something which I find funny, and I'll state it here. I think God is a comedian. God forgive me, I think he's a comedian. And here is why. In 2010, a lot of people stood against fuel subsidy. Today, 2022, 2023, the same people that marched against fuel subsidy are the ones telling us why we should have fuel subsidy. Big joke. Shut down Nigeria, did a lot of things. If we had done it then, now we're forced to do it. This is not pointing fingers at anyone or saying what's wrong or what's right. But it's basic communication. And we bought it hook, like line and sinker. Many Nigerians didn't know it cost Nigeria, that's towards the end of ending subsidy, 465 billion naira a month for subsidy. And whether you like it or not, to control the market prices presently, government is even putting in a little, just a little. It's not much, but that little is over 100 billion. I think by guess it's about 165 billion. But anyway, it's communication. You are the electorate. You will always think the way you want to think. Like we always say, look at politicians as shepherd dogs, and look at the electorate as sheep. They guide you to exactly what you think next. So I'd like to introduce the basic myths and realities within politics. And there are key indices, of course, that births every basic myth or reality. The first is the biggest and what Electoral College has spent its time fighting: poor political literacy. Everybody in this class, man, I know politics now. Why should I go to Electoral College? Come on. I know politics now. What are you talking about? I read poll science. I know politics now. Okay. Chairman, what does House of Rep do? Voila. I never thought in this country I would hear a lawyer say something on national TV that the judiciary makes laws. Okay, now. If I sit down even within this class, a pop quiz, a lot of people, I will put out a pop quiz within this cohort. What you didn't know was that we tagged the back end, and this is the first time I'm going to say it. We tagged the back end. So you see that time that you signed in and you failed, and then you saw the answers, and then you went back and did it again using another email. Haha, I knew. The Nigerian first to just look good. Later now, if people rig election, you say some people rig the election. You people rigged the pop quiz that had nothing to do. There was no winning prize. There was nothing. But you guys rigged it. And we decided to open it up. So I'm not going to blame the 12th cohort. It's Nigerian culture. You don't know, no vex now. If we say, okay, let's even ask, okay, what's the green on Nigeria's flag to represent? When was Nigeria's first election? If I ask those kind of questions, everybody will be like, you know what? Let's even do this. I know that you guys are going to Google it. And if you Google it, I'll know you did. So when was Nigeria's first election? Just chat is open. If you want to use Google, fine. Well, come on. We all rig elections in this country now. So let's just, be Nigerian. So when was Nigeria's first election? Now I'll go through the chat. You can do that quickly. Yeah, I'm waiting for you guys. I'm giving you like a minute. Nobody's answering. What's happening now? (1959), Adeni. Thank you very much. 1963, Priska. Thank you very much. 1963, Shadrach. Oh, Tolu Alokwe. Sure. 1923, Tolu Alokwe. Google is your friend. You sure you didn't Google that? 1960. Well, I'm going to help everybody. It's actually 1923, but I know that that cannot be achieved without Google. It's not quite an easy thing to get. The first party was formed shortly before that, Herbert Macaulay. And this is because Nigeria had people in the Congress functional to help with making laws. And then the House was in Kaduna State and still in Kaduna till now. And a lot of people, were elected across that time till now. So we don't blame anybody in Nigeria for we don't keep records in Nigeria, and we've not made politics look good. If you ask how many wards Nigeria has a problem, if you ask how many, it's quite, this information is actually there. What does your state get in FAC allocations? What does your local government get in FAC allocations? These conversations are all there, but we haven't ascribed fully to them, and we've not thought about it totally or holistically. So poor political literacy is a massive problem in Nigeria. For me, it's even the biggest problem, because if you cannot engage the system you don't understand. I keep saying this, and let's go to the NSAS. Everybody talks about, no offense, I do not support police brutality. I need to say this clearly. I do not support police brutality. I do not support anything that happened at Lekki, because I know you guys are emotional. If I say what I'm about to say now, you guys will start saying, this, that. That's not true. But I'm going to say this. I also do not, I'm looking for a nice way to say it. I do not understand the amazing predictability of Nigerian electoral stupidity. And here is what I'm going to talk about. So NSAS galvanized a lot of people, and a lot of people tell you there were wins for NSAS. Okay, yeah, right. Anyway, back to the conversation. Post NSAS, I thought there was going to be a response. Lagos State had a local government election shortly after. Less than 7% participation. Where were the NSAS people? Okay. No recall was done within the Lagos State House of Assembly. If you dislike the governor so much, why did you try to recall somebody and then wait for INEC to conduct the election in 90 days, sorry, get your own person in and impeach the governor? There's a system to these things. A coup is allowed within a democracy. At the legislative level, it's known as recall. At the executive level, it is known as impeachment. And it is legal. But no. Let's go to Twitter. Buhari is being a bad boy. Hey, 50,000 likes. How do I want to take help your position in this country? Anyway, move on. Defects in the fourth estate. Now, the fourth estate is most guilty of quite a lot of things. You have people championing Alhaji, the guy in whose name I won't mention. The guy in Arise TV. Yeah, we like him. He's a studious guy of Nigeria. His gaps are epic, I'll tell you. I'll tell you something. There's no how you can claim to love your country. You can dislike the persona of the president, but you will not disrespect the seat of the president. Take this to the bank. So the defects in the fourth estate. The fourth estate, when you are watching some particular programs, if you support PDP, Nigerians, AIT. You support APC, Nigerians, TVC. You support Labour Party, Nigerians, Arise TV. True or false? Meanwhile, in the NBC's Act, does not allow any one of them show that nonsense. But we tolerate it because it supports our bias and our poor political literacy. So the fourth estate will say, okay, we're having a conversation on the future of democracy of Nigeria. The first person they will bring to the conversation is 60-something years old. He's in APC. The second person they will bring to the conversation is 71 years old. He's in PDP. And they will sit down. I'm not saying that APC is older than PDP, but you could translate another thing. I know you probably touch it. And then they'll sit down and discuss the future of Nigeria without the future of Nigeria being there. We didn't even invite 40. We didn't even invite 20. And these guys will argue like two Alsatians with one bone between them. And in the end, I want somebody to tell me, and I'm going to ask generally, and you can write in the chat, what you have gotten from watching most TV interviews in Nigeria. At the end of the day, what did you take home? Zero. And the fourth estate just spends a lot of time emphasizing that zero. Number one, the person interviewing does not even, okay. God, please. Electoral college, please. I beg you should not release this video. Let them stop inviting me to TV. So most of the people that interview me don't even know the topic they are talking about. Mr. Kone, you're here. Very fine, thank you. So I want us to discuss, the current political impasse in an impasse used to be a common political word in the 90s. Means instability or this. So I want to discuss the current political impasse in Edo State. And I'll be like, okay, deputy governor, he's been given quite a lot of leeway by the governor, etc., etc. Okay, so this impasse, will it affect the state? Where is that question coming from? Didn't I just explain that? And then they'll go back and, the same questions. That is because they have no idea of the topic they are talking about. Their editor just gave them a news flyer and said, this thing is raining, I beg, invite Kunle Lawal, he knows what to say. And then you keep asking me the same repetitive questions. That's why sometimes when I'm on TV, I'm kind of like this. Because you're asking me the same question and I'm giving you the same answer. And sometimes that was when I was a little younger. Now I'm a little more touchy. I don't know whether it's because I'm growing old or it's middle age crisis. I kind of take it personal. So if you ask me, I was like, come on, you just asked me that question. I gave you this answer. This answer is related to this answer. So guy, pick up, give me another question. And when I say that on live TV, everyone, yes, Kole has done it again. Anyway, that's why many people don't like me. So next, we also pick on influential perspectives. God damn, what was I thinking of when I was writing this thing? Is this how I felt influential? I really should. I'll feel too full. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Influential perspectives, or you guys can understand what I was trying to say. Influential perspectives overriding individual thoughts. So now, I'll tell you guys a story. I'm not a renegade, but this is the truth. I've had someone like Pastor Adefarasi, say that, and it's common conversation in church, and it was a big thing. And then he said, Lord Lugard is the problem in Nigeria. Lord Lugard is Nigeria's problem. And I was called in on a TV program, and as of then, I used to House on Rock was not far from my house. That's in Abuja. I used to attend it a bit, and I was asked this question on live TV, and I was like, no, it's wrong, and this is that. And it seems that anything that is being done by House on Rock, only won't be invited. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, we take everything we hear from our influential people, and sometimes it's not as high as Pastor Adefarasi. It could be as normal as people that you follow on Facebook, who we've adapted as our daddy and mommy geos on social media. And we've swallowed this, that anything they say, we do not go through it, we spread it, and then we keep replicating the information. Meanwhile, they're wrong over particular matters. And, this has gone on for quite a long time. And, it's led to quite a lot of confusion on what exactly is going on in politics. The next will be false assumption of knowledge, which we have tried to recruit in our time, right? I feel the influential perspectives overriding individual thoughts gives birth to false assumption of knowledge on politics. You think because you read someone's particular work, it means you understand politics, or because you are part of something you feel you understand, or because you came to the electoral college, didn't attend classes fully. No, you will not by mistake get a certificate. That I couldn't. Only and Lisa will ensure that your attendance does not meet the required perspective. You will not mistakenly get it. But you feel you've attended the electoral college and you come out and you say, this is that. I've heard people who were trained by a political literacy group whose name I would rather not mention. And one of them bought a form, I remember, to run for office. And the person's statement was, finally, an aspirant has become a candidate. I have purchased my form. So even some CSOs are a problem. They help in teaching you bad things so that you join bad gang. I didn't call any CSO's name, so if people go and report me, anyway, they don't like me already, so there's no need for that. Now, the basic issue in Nigeria is emotional response to issues. Nigerians are touchy. Once you say a Kunle Lawal, you see my name on social media, Kunle Lawal, starts talking about Biafra. Hey, my brothers in the East become touch. Me that is rock in DK. That's my best song, right? I love the song. But they forget that Kunle loves that song. I used to dance it up and down. And they forget Pals too was in that song. Just because my name is Kunle Lawal and I started talking about Biafra. Shut up. No, you are part of the zoo. They find out part of my blood is Fulani again. I'm official zoo. Is that not official zoo? I'm an animal. And that's how we move through conversations. You don't even know where the person comes from. You don't understand where the person has been. You do not wait for him to land. He has a right. There is nobody that has more right to Nigeria than anyone. And the Biafran conversation, for me, come on, Haba, we've been begging. You guys are touchy. Leave this thing now. Next time, you not give power to a 32-year-old and the military. You not give military power to a 33-year-old and a 33-year-old. So come and be using your country for strength they are supposed to use to chase slave queens. They'll be using it to fire bullets at each other. No offense, I'm not saying that's what happened there. I'm not stopping go on and please, you guys. I'm just talking about our emotional response to things. So we tend to take things, too emotionally, too this is that. Or who is a woman to teach me politics? What women? Give us free form, give us free form. We need to become politicians. There's a prime minister in Finland. The question you now ask, did the prime minister in Finland collect free form? How does free form guarantee that you're going to win a primaries? I don't know. We don't want to discuss that. I was in a room, I think, the National Bar Women's Association. And The room civic center had like 900 and something women. And the way I normally start my conversation, hey guys, I'd love to see a female president. Yeah, the room went loud. I'd love to see a female Senate president. Yeah, I'd love to see a female speaker that doesn't steal money. I have to talk about Patricia Eti because there was one that stole money. So I like to see him. Female speaker that doesn't steal money. Hey. How many of you are in political parties? 900 women, 6 hands up. And my question next was, how do you want to enter office when you refuse to come and eat dinner on the table? It's all right. Let's be emotional about everything. That's our Nigerian. Now, I don't think I need to flog the poor understanding of the system and constitution. Everything we have taught you in the Electoral College is basically this. Poor understanding of the system and the constitution. And as we are finding out, even lawyers are lost on the constitution and the Electoral Act. That's the new breaking news. But the people that know me know I've gone to with quite some sound on TV, and it didn't end well because they basically do not know Nigeria's law. No offense, I just wish I could collect the 2 million they are collecting per sitting. Actually, I would have done a lot. At least I could have bought everybody in this cohort. Okay, I can't buy everybody in this cohort an iPhone. I would have bought iPhone charger for all of us in this cohort. I think we can do that. But then we have the culture of slavery in which we've learned from military rule. Now that one, it seems to be the biggest problem. We have developed a culture of slavery. Everything we think about is the president. Nigerians do not know anything about the governor. They don't care that governors are receiving almost double the FAC allocation they're supposed to receive presently. Nobody cares. And then when they've received double that FAC allocation, governor dangles 50 million in Cross River State healthcare. Which other states? Kogi State increased salary of coppers compared to what they collected. Come on, states collect about 3-point-something billion. They're now collecting 6 billion. Wake up and smell the coffee. So there are myths. The biggest myth will be there are no ideologies in political parties. I believe this has been dispelled. We don't need to flog over it. Our Electoral College teaching. And in case there are people who joined us here, political parties actually have ideologies and a very well-formed constitution. I think, like I always say, I think one of the best ideologies and constitutions I've seen is that of the APC. Socialist in its approach. I don't believe that it's also my own perspective of things. I'm more capitalist in nature, to leaning towards the PDP. You get, and the SDP, who kind of takes an agrarian perspective to economics, is there. So political parties have that. Now, but this is the problem in Nigeria. I cannot hustle my money, pay political party exorbitant money for 4 pieces of paper, which they call form. How did I bought my form? Anyway, I don't want to remember that. And so 4 pieces of paper, pay delegates, win election. Then when I enter, you say I should follow what the party tells me to do. We all know. A myth is PVC drive will improve electoral outcomes. When Nigeria still matched 50% of its electoral voting population voting in an election was 2015. The amount spent on PVC drives then was, I don't even know what to say. It can't even be compared. It's like buying that touchlight phone and then picking the iPhone 15 and comparing the amount spent. We have driven so much for PVCs that we have forgotten to tell people to join political parties, to effectively understand the Electoral Act, to be able to participate. Another myth is the president is everything. We dispelled that too many times in the Electoral College. President is not everything. He's part of the system, but it's not everything. Politics is money. Politics requires money, but its basis is not based on money. Politics doesn't affect me. The common Nigerian notion, they work for Shell now, they don't go touch me. They receive my money for dollars. Eh, When insecurity come and meet you, we'll see how your dollars will look at you. The LG is powerless under the state government. This is also not true. It's a common thought process. And the question I always ask, since everybody is start searching in the constitution for LG autonomy to be written clearly, why don't we start searching for where state autonomy is written clearly so that the president can kidnap the states? If you want to have local government autonomy, that's what you think about. The constitution is useless. Now, this is a common thing. Any activist, scrap Nigeria's constitution. Scrap it. It is useless. The whatever Adesanya report, whatever report is talk about, that 1 million pages. This is that. Anybody that is singing that song has definitely not read the Constitution of Nigeria. If they tell you that they've read it, tell them to come and visit Kunle Lawal. They should name time and place. I'm ready to debate at any time. The Constitution is not useless. We just haven't followed our Constitution even up to 40%. CSOs and social media ideas. I carry quite a lot of myths. And we've explained earlier, a vote for a small party is a waste for your vote. So I'll proceed to the next slide. Now, realities, which we're going to deal with. Now, no seat belongs to a political party. I know that it has been ingrained in our head. This is an APC state. You enter Lagos. This is an APC state. You enter Akwa Ibom. Hey, this is a PDP state. My brother Silas. Hey, we've recovered our state back. PDP has won part 2. You just celebrated, success at the tribunal. Congratulations, Silas. And you had PDP. There's no state that belongs to any party. Are they sworn to the constitution of the political party or sworn to the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? That's a question you need to ask yourself. It is even against the law for essays, and I'm telling you clearly, it's in the Electoral Act, for essays, and we're going to do that when we get to the Electoral Act, for essays, for PAs, to even support a candidate. I'll prove that to you in the Electoral Act. Votes count. People will tell you, votes don't count. How will votes count? When you invited your girlfriend on the election day, you put doing Netflix and chill. I accidentally found out that Netflix and chill is not what I thought it meant. Anyway, you guys are old school, so let's leave it at that. And then you're there arguing who is winning the election on social media. You didn't go and vote. How do you know that votes don't count? Votes do count. Aspirants or elected officials do not understand most of the time their jurisdictions of office. You have governors openly forwarding accounts for local government chairman to pay money into. I have a problem. Strategy does win election. Well thought out strategy. We didn't say you should go and call the head of area boys in your area. I won't win election. We got bring 40 million, we'll run out. Bring 50 million, we'll run out. Anyhow, we'll run that thing. Not so they take me in election. You have to use your brain. Change involves all of us. I know a lot of people have said this. Some parties have said this. They've made us scared of the word change. But you can change the change that changed the change. Kind of put it like that. The highest abuse of power, actually, is at the gubernatorial level. Over time, they have kidnapped the local government and the state legislature to a point they cannot even speak. The legislative office is key to development, whether it's a state level, a local government level, which is our councillors, at a state level, which is State House of Assembly, or at federal level, where we have a bicameral legislature, which is the House of Rep and the Senate. They are key to development. They work with oversight and making laws. Allow for them to be the basis and the first point of changing any narrative or any development in a country. The Constitution is your birthright. Most of you walk around, Muslim, Christian, you carry your holy books. Till you read this holy book, the Constitution, that pali that you're carrying green, Just carrying it for show off. Because if we sit down, what's your country's law? What's your country's decision on? I'll give you something I find funny. So what's the country's position on divorce? Nigerian films have taught us. I don't know, all these producers. In case there's a producer here, you guys are really, really, I don't know how to say. Only in Nigeria do you want to divorce somebody and they say, bring the papers, I'll sign it. Nonsense. What the hell do you think you are? I had to go through a massive court case and you have to fix the system. But movies have taught us, Nigerian laws are different. I've even watched a movie where they called, I don't watch Nigerian movies, but while passing in a Nigerian movie, they say, I'll call the FBI. Eh? Nigeria, Kuma. Okay, now. Now, I need to talk about this reality because Nigerians don't understand it. So protest is a tool, but it's not the key to facilitate change. So it's a tool, meaning that it shows your displeasure. But when you protest, there are always layers. And anywhere you go, whenever there's a protest, there's another layer having a conversation with the government in power, telling them, look, yes, we are protesting, but this is what we actually want. Not like NSAS, we have no leaders, we have no position, we have no this, we don't know what we want, just scrap SARS. SARS. Okay, we scrap SARS, police still brutal. No change anything now. That's because you didn't understand anything. And if you want me to tell you so that I don't sound like other activists I'm not an activist. I don't sound like activists that don't proffer solutions. One of the key things they could have asked for is that we're not in a war zone. Policemen cannot carry AK-47s. Automatic, when you switch that to automatic, it fires approximately 102 bullets per minute. They should either carry sidearms. If you want to carry AK-47s, that should be restricted for vital assets and those guarding vital assets. But those normal guys moving around should just have a pistol. And the man with a pistol cannot just fire anyhow at will. Because you might miss. You can shoot me with a pistol and I'll still come back and collect a pistol and hit your head with it. Those are the kind of conversations we should have been having. But as usual, generation, let's not call their name. Now they'll soon come out with a video. Kuli Lawal has been a bad boy. Move on. Nigeria is a collective responsibility, and we all need to understand that. Nigeria is not a responsibility of those in government. It's not a responsibility of the electorate. It's not a responsibility of a political party. It is a collective responsibility of Nigerians. So the next time you accuse a politician for looting Nigeria's money, please remember that NISAL and COVID fund that you took, that you refused to pay back. And we proceed. In conclusion, democracy so generally is not something that just happens. Just an election time. It's not something that just happens just with one event. It's an ongoing building process, but it's also ought to be part of our culture and a part of our lives. Jim Hightower. Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure taking this class. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Edie. It was an insightful class, and as always, it's good having you. And all the stray bullets were received, and I guess some places they were not well received. So it's time for question and answers. If you have a question, just show by raise of hands, and I'll unmute you to ask your question, or you can put it in the chat box. But then I think there were some comments in the chat box that people were receiving the bass boost that you're giving us, sir. And we hope he gives room for your invitation to other places. I have a first question. Atiba, I've asked you to unmute, so unmute and ask your question. Atiba, Adidira.
Good evening, sir. Thank you, Edie, for the examples that you gave us. This is very helpful. I just want to put in this direction, and if you can enlighten me a little bit on this. The issue of influencers and majority of the what is it called, the so-called AOP, when they engage, bring you to show, and they don't know about the subject matter, and they are trying to force you to reason in their way. Is there a way one can just visit that? Because I remember during 2023 election gubernatorial debate in a state, one of the AOP that ought to be neutral, it was even backing the state governor from not giving the local government autonomy, referencing to one section 167 or 67 of the thing in public, in which this same person, when he was coming in 2019, he promised the populace, the masses, that is going to give is going to grant local government autonomy.
Hello?
Hello, I think we lost you. Can you still hear us?
Okay. So what I got from what he said was that a governor promised them local government autonomy. This goes back to political literacy. I think we've taught you guys enough in this class to know that governors cannot grant local government autonomy. It's already guaranteed and granted by the Constitution. It's not a governor's duty. A governor's duty is to adhere to the Constitution, not to grant local government autonomy as if it's a personal favor and or at the pleasure of his wishes. I think that's what he was trying to say. And somebody is here saying, "Edie, you're not an activist. Who then are you? How do you classify this movement? Are we a movement?" It seems I'm the one that doesn't know. I believe we set up the Electoral College for political literacy. And I'm going to ask you, have you seen an activist that understands the Constitution and the Electoral Act? No. So I'm going to critically tell you. If you do not know what ED is, I'm going to tell you. ED is a politician. Cool. He's just in retirement. Like I said, I'm just temporarily in retirement. I'm not an activist. Activists don't know the law. They don't understand the Electoral Act. They also are people that just say things that come out of their mouth. Yeah, not that guy. I've already stated to every TV station, if you ever write activist under my name, I will sue you. God forbid, I'm not an activist. Sorry, no offense, no stray bullets to activists. I'm just making a clear distinction. What else?
Okay,
I think, I'm trying to go through the questions.
Okay, sir.
And somebody saying, really, if their ideologies lying within these parties, why do we have to search for them with a lens? Did you search for them? If I didn't tell you, would you know? This is common information now. Go and read their constitution. Go and read their stuff. I'm telling you that you are saying you have to search for them in a lens. But yet you know that Moyo Lawal has sex tape. You know that Yule Doche and his wife he married second girl. If you know that and you don't know this one, it's you that has problem with lens. So no offense. I'm not being harsh. I'm just being honest. Who is saying Oyo State? It's you that said it. I didn't say it. Yeah, somebody is saying even marketers and sales rep work with emotions. Yes, somebody is saying even in other countries, people vote with emotions. Yes, people vote with emotions. But have you noticed that the ratio of people that vote with emotions in other countries is far less than that in Nigeria? I've always said it. Yes. Why do you think Trump has supporters in US? There are people that emotionally believe that Americans are bigger than others. It's just that there are people with more sense than those ones. So it's natural. But in Nigeria, it's the other way around. We have more emotions. Kunle comes out. Kunle is running. We like him. He's young. What does Kunle have to do? We don't care. He's young. It's behind him. He's young. What's Kunle going to do? He's young. That's enough. He's young. It's fine. How can't you see he wears glasses? The guy has sense. So, man, the guy just say according to subsection 3, this, that. Hey, almost they don't scatter head, man. Bad guy. Now this guy for us, man. Meanwhile, the guy don't know anything. To reach that place because they talk. Too emotional in Nigeria. Why do you vote for him? When he was governor. Why do you want him to be president? Because he was a good governor. Uncle. Executive and legislative are totally different. But come on, he can be Senate president. Next thing when he enters now, and he's passing bill of the poor should breathe. People will now be complaining. See what our Senate president is doing. Anyway, no offense. I didn't talk or say anything about anything. Anyway, any more questions, please? Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Any more questions?
Okay,
It
somebody here. No, somebody here. Somebody here is. This is important. NSAS had its gains, no doubt. Please name one. Say we are here. I'm not arguing with anybody. Just name one. When you're done, let me know.
Okay, do I have any more questions?
Alas, I don't know why you're laughing. You're not making this class interesting. You're making me laugh.
Guys, okay, let me see.
Somebody is asking, he said, is there a justification?
Justification. Okay, let me read it out, sir.
Okay.
Is there a justification for a state governor denying local government of autonomy, whereas the Constitution says it clear? Where are we heading? Where are we heading to in this country then?
Yes, there's a justification. As much as I preach local government, they're supposed to be autonomous, there's a justification. The people in the state do not know. Hence the justification. So people still lie down. His Excellency, my governor, His Excellency, Silas, you are laughing. Don't allow me to start with your state that does not even have elected local government chairman. I don't know what you are laughing at. So there's a justification. The people don't know. Hence the justification. So that's the point. And because you don't know, all of you will see His Excellency, His Excellency, His Excellency, His Excellency. Or, like I said, in some favorite places, Ele. You know, Ele has even used funny. Ele in trying to prove that somebody refused to give him money and people came to beg him. Ele decided to activate councillors to remove a local government chairman. That is, he used something wrong and he did something wrong and then used something that we have waited to see in Nigeria to effect his position. But yet they will tell you that councillors are just there. When you people is the people that used to repair bicycle and motorcycle on your streets that you have allowed to become councillor. You don't know it's a delicate position. Continue. As long as you do not care about local government, to continue the same. As long as you are ready to say, the best things in sliced bread, you will continue the same. No offense, my mother is cool. I don't really agree with those guys. NSAS gave youth a voice. I don't like the voice where there are less youth in power than we ever had, and there are less elected youth ever in Nigerian history presently than ever. A voice where on Twitter. See, my business is governance. I don't know how to do all this, the way people will say, now after 2023, Nigerians are more politically aware. How? Participation in election is far worse than ever in Nigeria's history. Are you following the figures or are you following what people say? There's a difference between fact and emotion. I won't do the emotional. I won't do that. You will never catch me doing it. So you say it gives the youth a voice. Where? 1999, we had people like Frank Weke Jr. appointed Minister of Information at about age 34. Had the same with El Rufai, that was not yet 40. OBS, not yet 40. Now you people are celebrating one minister that they gave you, Minister of Youth, that is under 40. How many youths? How many of you? Let me even ask. What was the average age? What state? The person that asked this question, that told me youth have a voice. What state are you from? Let me look at the name. Let me see whether I can track the state. Political change is incremental, now small. Oh, yeah, it's now small. Are you not supposed to be going forward instead of backward? You guys want to make me laugh. You buy in reverse. Let me just tell you, in case you don't know. Afolabi, okay. Name one southern state that has an essay below 30 and actually knows what it's doing. We didn't say those essays that don't know what they are doing, that are for typing on Twitter and hailing the governor. You know, there are plenty in Kogi and some other funny states. Anyway, let's not enter this discussion with this class. Thank you, everyone. In the case that there are no more questions, I think we can proceed and end the class.
Thank you very much, Edie. Atiba,
Somebody has lifted his hand.
question.
Okay.
I've asked you to unmute, so we take you as the last question. Atiba Adediran, I have asked you to unmute, so you can unmute and ask your question.
Hello?
We cannot hear you.
We can't hear you.
Okay, since we can't hear you, thank you for a great class, Edie. Always a pleasure sitting in any fora where you are talking. I feel stupid sometimes, but it charges me to learn more. At this moment, I'll hand over to our able DED. Do we have a birthday celebration for Chalia? Well, I'm in Jos, I'll go and find her for the party.
It's 5 Alive party. It's 5 Alive party.
I'll come with my own, sir. DED, Madam Lisa, over to you, ma'am. Didi, we can't hear you. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think we're done. India has done justice to everything already. Nothing left to be said. So well done, everybody. Thank you for being in class this weekend. See you next weekend. Well done, Silas.
Next weekend, you get class tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Oh, my bad.
Lisa.
I thought today was Sunday. Sorry. See you in class tomorrow.
Lisa, okay now.
No worries, just 5 Alive. I took just 5 Alive.
I told you not to drink before this class.
Okay,
happy birthday to Lisa again on behalf of everybody.
To Chalia.
Happy birthday, Chalia.
Chalia, sorry.
Okay, I think we can just unmute so the students can tell Edie thank you. I saw someone writing that Edie has done it again.
Thank you, Mr. Edie. God bless you, man.
Thank you very much, Sam.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you very much. We appreciate
Edie.
it.
A great session indeed.
Thank you.
And happy birthday to Charlie too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Huh?
You must be cancelled.
I did talk like that.
I'll tell you my own. You must be cancelled. Like,
Silas, please, you can end the class. You have the host function. Thank you.
Okay.